It's been 3 months since I unboxed the Konnected Joe from Kamado Joe, and since then I've done some rotisserie on it, I've done some low and slow cooks, I've done some grilling, put it through its paces, and it's time to share my thoughts on it. Let's get into it. What's up, barbecue fans, and welcome back to Patio. My name's Jake, you're watching Mama Cook. Today on the channel is all about the Konnected Joe. I'm sharing my review on it, and it's been 3 months, so I've done a lot on it. Most of it I've shared on camera, but there's definitely been a bunch of cooks that I've just done during the week where I'm just kind of putting it through its paces. So I've got enough time on it. I'm comfortable sharing some feedback and a general review on it, and we're going to break it down in 4 different categories. I'm going to share what I like about it, I'm going to share what I dislike about it, talk a little bit about who this is for, and then I'm going to share some tips that I have for Kamado Joe. So let's start with the things that I like first. Now, for those of you who don't know, for my day job, I work in technology, so I like technology. I've been in it for many, many years, and while I don't keep up to date with all the latest and greatest like I once did, I still really appreciate technology and will leverage it when it makes sense for me. So one of the things I like about this is just the overall technology, but even more is the fact that I can use the technology and use this in fully automatic mode, or I can use it in manual mode. Totally up to you, and you could start in automatic mode, turn it off, and take over manual mode whenever you wanted. The other thing I like about it here is that this button here, this is our AFS system, stands for automatic fire starter, and rather than having to buy third-party products or all those wax cubes, light them up and get this up to temperature, you can push a button. Now if you're in manual mode, that will run for up to 15 minutes, and you can open up your vents however you want, get her going, push this button, and away you go. Now if you wanted to use it in manual mode, or sorry, automatic mode, you can do the same thing. We're just going to push our temperature button. It's going to tell you to close this vent, and then we'll dial in our temperature, 250, hit our button. It'll tell us how to adjust our top vent, and then we'll push our AFS system, and away you go. It'll get up to temperature. Now it may overshoot that temperature a little bit, but so far every time it's come back on locked into that temperature that I asked for and stayed there. So that's been really good. So I do appreciate the ability to be able to go back and forth between manual and automatic. The fire starter system, the great thing about that is that this thing lights up super quick. So I've used this a little bit more during the week than I would normally, just because I can get up to temperature very quick and I don't have to worry about it. But it'll get up to temperature within 10 to 15 minutes, no problem. Now if you're just grilling, that's perfectly fine. If you're gonna do traditional Kamado style cooking, you still gotta get the dome up to temperature, right? It's gotta get heat soaked to really take advantage of some of that radiant cooking that you're gonna get. But just for everyday grilling, it's super quick. The other area where it shines is, let's say you're doing a reverse sear and you're cruising along at 250 and now you want her up at 700. You can dial this guy up to 700 and lock in the temperature, the fan kicks on, and this thing goes from like low and slow to screaming hot in the blink of an eye. It is really, really quick. Now obviously you could just come in here, open up your vents, open up your dome, and all that air is gonna go through, and it's gonna get up to temperature pretty quickly, but I'll tell you what, the fan does it a lot quicker. So that is nice. Now, another thing that I like about it is the serviceability of it. Now I did a whole video on this, I'll link it up here, but if you have problems, there's electronics here. Things are gonna break over time. It's gonna happen, maybe a bearing can go on a fan or something like that, but it is super easy to work on. I'm not one of those guys that is a handy guy around the house. I usually call someone in to do the work for me, but for this, I did take it apart, and I did, the first time I ever took it apart on camera, that whole video I had never seen behind the scenes, we just went with it. And I showed you just how easy it was to take apart and replace things. Super easy to work on, so I do like that. The final piece about this that I really like is that this is based on the Classic 2. So all those accessories that work on the Classic 2 work on this. You want your dojo, you want your rotisserie, you want the basket, maybe you want the griddle, that's a new accessory, half moons, all of that works on here. So you still have a very, very versatile grill. You just got the added features and benefits of some extra technology that you can use it when you want it, or just use it in manual mode. Let's talk about some dislikes. So right out of the gate for me, size, right? This is based on the Classic 2, and It's 18 inches in diameter. It works, but for me personally, it's a little bit small. I would much prefer to see it in a Big Joe format. You know, if you're grilling here, burgers, dogs, chicken, vegetables, steaks, whatever, you've got a fair amount of room here. That's no problem, but where it starts to get small is that if we're doing some two-zone cooking or we're using some of our half moon accessories, that half moon starts to get small. The other areas are if we were doing some ribs, let's say you want to do 4 or 5 racks of ribs, right? For this guy, you're probably going to have to buy a rib rack accessory and lay them on their side so that you can get them in there. If you're going to do a big brisket, you're going to be a little bit limited there. 13, 14, 15 pound, no problem. If you want to go bigger than that, you're going to start to have to add a piece of wood so you can shorten it up by going up and over a block. Not a big deal, but I've always told people, listen, if you're going to buy a grill or a smoker, you will never complain about it being too big, but you will complain about it being too small. So for me, I always encourage people to buy a little larger. So I would love to see this in a Big Joe format. I don't know if it's going to happen. Kamado Joe hasn't said anything about it, so maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, we don't know. But it would be nice to see it in the bigger format. The next thing that I dislike about it, and this one's a little bit nitpicky and can be fixed very easily, and that's just the app is a little basic still, right? They just added some grafting not too long ago, and because it's all software, they can change it. I'm sure a year from now, the app is going to have even more. But right now it's a little bit basic. Yes, I can turn it up remotely just like I want, but I'd like to see a little bit more improvement there. The third area of disappointment for me is really comes down to the wireless, right? It's 2023. Lots of people have got 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks at home, and this guy only connects to 2.4, which isn't a super issue. Where the issue comes into play is that if your network has one name and you're broadcasting 5 and 2.4 gigahertz on the same name, this is not smart enough just to connect to the 2.4. So for me, I then had to go create a separate 2.4 gigahertz network just so this connect to it. Now, I'm in technology, so I did it in 2 seconds, but I think in this day and age, you probably could have made a different selection there and added the ability to connect to either or, and it wouldn't have cost that much more. I'm not sure why they made the decision just to connect to 2.4. It is a little stronger, but I think that this is not going to be too far away from my house in most cases. So the ability to connect to both would have been nice, but that's about it for dislikes. Let's get into who this grill's for. So when we think about who this product's for, a few people come to mind. First and foremost is someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with charcoal, maybe none, and the thought of having a Kamado style cooker intimidates them a little bit. They're worried about the learning curve, and they're looking for a little bit of technology to help them out. I think that there's a lot of people that probably have stood off to the side. They grew up maybe with a gas grill like I did. That's all I cooked on growing up, right? And moving over to this is a little bit intimidating, and this just helps bridge that gap for them. The other person that it comes to mind for is someone who just enjoys technology and wants to leverage some of that set it and forget it. Now, in general, Kamados are known for being set it and forget it, but this just takes a step further. You can fire it up in the morning, go run errands all day, adjust your temperature remotely, and then you can turn it down just to keep it on warm, and you've got all that flexibility where you're not tied to your backyard. So that's another group. The third and final group that kind of comes to mind is someone who is worried about playing with torches and lighting chimneys or fire starters or anything. Like I think about my wife, right? My wife is not going to come out here with a grow gun and light up anything, right? She does not want to do that. But in the morning, I can fill this guy up and I can say, hey, come on out. Here's how you hit the buttons, hit start. You start it up for me. And then it's fired up by the time I get home. Or if she wants to take it a step further, she can start to grill some stuff, right? There are a lot of people out there that just don't want to play with any fire starters or anything like that. And this is going to be something that's going to open that door for them, and they're still going to be able to enjoy some great tasting over lump cooking and have a smoker. So let's talk about some feedback and suggestions for Kamado Joe. So the first suggestion or piece of feedback for Kamado Joe is improve the logic on the push notifications. Let me give you a couple examples here. So I'm out here, I turn this on, I'm getting my grill ready, smoking or grilling, whatever I'm doing. But now I'm gonna get a notification on my phone that says, prep grill. Why do I need that? I'm out here turning it on. Obviously, I know I got to prep it to get it going. Another example would be, let's say you're cooking for a few hours and you come outside, you open it up, gotta spray whatever I'm cooking, I spray it, I close it, go inside. A few minutes later, I'm gonna get a notification that says your grill is back up to temperature. I don't really need that. I know it dropped in temperature because I opened it. So, I'd like to see some logic that just kind of says, if I've already come up to temperature once and I've alerted once, don't alert again if there's fluctuations, unless there's like a dramatic, 100-degree difference or something like that. Like build a little bit of logic just to make the alerts a little bit smarter, because right now it's over communicating to you, and I think that could be fine-tuned. Another piece, and again, these are all really software tweaks, but when you look at the app and you look at the lines, it draws straight lines. Now it holds temperature extremely well, but there are fluctuations and the app does not accurately show that. It just shows a straight line. And I just think that, show the real temperature. People expect things to go up and down. It's gonna happen. It's a fan that turns on and off. People are gonna open and close it. Show the actual temperatures. Don't have it set to, it's like it's got no variability. It's just a flat line unless there's a dramatic change. I think that you could soften that and show some little nuances there. The final suggestion or improvement would be add a second plug. So I'm already running power out to come around to plug this guy in. Why do I gotta go get an extension cord to plug in my rotisserie, right? There should be some attachment or something that can be plugged in so I can just plug in right here off the same power source and I don't need a second electrical cord. Or I need a cord with two ends on it, and lots of cords just have one end on it. It's nitpicky, I know, but it would be a $2 change, I think. I don't think it would be that expensive to add that little bit of common sense there. Overall, what's my opinion? It's really up to you, right? Lots of people knock pellet grills. I love mine. Everything has its use, right? People are like, oh, it's got too much technology in it. This is the same thing, right? There's a lot of technology in here. If you want to take advantage of it and use it and you like that type of thing, I think this is perfect, right? They allow you to use it in technology mode or manual mode. If you're someone who's thinking of dipping their toe in the Kamado pond and they were a little intimidated, I think that has been removed. This product will work great for you. Now, if you're a big family of 6, I think it's a little small personally. So this brings us to final thoughts and answering the question, is this the Joe for you? Now, I can't answer that. What I can say is that if the technology interests you and you like some of that set it and forget it features that this brings to the table, this will deliver. It will do what it says it does. We're on the fence about getting a Kamado style cooker, but you're a little bit intimidated. This is going to push it over the edge and bridge that gap, and there's no reason for you not to grab one. And once you have one, you're going to learn that they are pretty easy to use once you get used to it. The great thing is that if you're going to add a Kamado style cooker to your backyard, you're going to learn we can do bread, we can do cold smoke, we can do regular smoke, you can do reverse sears, you can searing, high temp cooking, pizzas, calzones. These things do a lot, and if you've never worked with a Kamado style cooker before, you're going to be thrilled with the performance and the versatility that you can get out of one by adding it to the backyard. There you have it. That's my thoughts. You can decide if it's the right product for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. While you're down there, subscribe, and don't forget to enter the contest. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.